You know what bird that is? It's a pheasant. Very common animals here in the British countrysides. We also like to call them like a pheasant. Very popular for hunting. But today's video, let's talk about the spiritual meaning or the spirit animal of the pheasant. And this is a perfect example of when you go out here in the woods, in nature, into the lands, without having any goal, without having any objective in mind. Especially for me as a creator, like sometimes I must think about a topic I must come up with in order to talk about it, to share more information about it. And for today I had no idea. I had no topic. I did not do any research. And I must also say is that although I can be hyperactive in the mind, I can be a bit ADD, where I constantly overthink, and sometimes I just like to keep reading on what's happening in my own mind, and perhaps some of us can relate to it. But none of that is the case. And this is an ideal example of when you completely slow down, you become really mindful, and get into this atmosphere of immersing yourself in the spirit of nature. Is that what we need to receive for us in this very specific moment? That will come to us. It is a scary thing, it's a crazy thing, because we are so used to expecting an outcome, expecting a result. Like, if I do this, then I expect that in return. I go on, take a healing session. I go on into a workshop. I go and buy a book because I'm hoping to get this in return. The work that I do and the work that I'm growing into is completely opposite. Because there's something much greater to us playing, helping us, to assist us, is to realign ourselves with our core essence, is to remember exactly our soul purpose. We all have here a little piece of the puzzle to give to a more greater collective. Therefore we must unlearn many things that we are conditioned to behave ourselves in a certain way. Instead is to realign ourselves and remember what that core purpose is for us. And nature, the spirit of nature, can help us with that. And sometimes we can receive an insight, an intuitive guidance, an inspiration, a thought or a lightning strike, which is very common in any kind of shamanic tradition. The lightning strike, it's not really literally, but it's like this lightning strike of inspiration, of insight, of something happen that brings us closer to our path. So today I made a little friends here in the woods, in the forest. I was just minding my own business. Well, first of all, let's begin from the beginning. I was just starting off my hike, and I think I still have a lot to do, but because I'm very slow in today's walk, in today's hike, I probably already spent more time completing it than actually focusing on the walk. But first of all, I started off and I was like in the middle of a field. I was like, feeling the presence or the essence of this big tree, and an elderly couple passed by and they were already far away in the distance, and then I kept standing still there, and the lady came back and she asked me, very British of course, because he was local, "Are you looking for anything specific? Are you looking for any kind of bird specifically?" I said, "No, I'm not a bird watcher. I don't look for any kind of specific bird. If something catches my attention, happy to take a picture of it, but I'm not looking for anything. That's how I continue to pass on. Maybe there was a bird looking for me. So I continued on my walk, and I was like coming up on this major pavements, like this big entrance towards a farm. And around farms we can, see all these peasants, these pheasants, these big birds. Some are being farmed on these farms. I don't know exactly the whole story behind it, but sometimes they are really good at jump scare the crap out of us. When you're walking through fields and like a meter or two, and maybe they're sleeping and they suddenly wake up and they jump up and they with loads of noise, and you think everything is peaceful and quiet, and then they jump up and it's like a jump scare. It's what they're really good at, these birds. But anyway, I came across this very bright, very colorful, very big male peasants. Came out of nowhere, absolutely nowhere. I was passing by and I was like, I slowed down a bit. I give the bird a little bit of his space. Maybe he want to pass, maybe he want to continue. I like to respect animals and their space. So I stood still, and the animal just kept standing still there. So I thought this could be a good opportunity to take actually some footage of this magnificent birds, this very beautiful birds. And I took a bit more footage, and I thought, okay, that's it. I keep walking. But then the bird kept going on with me. I was like, what's going on? He was not scared at all. He was not scared of me, which is an uncommon thing, because most animals in the wild, in the wilderness, they run away. Males, when they smell or hear a human being. But it just kept following me. It kept even circling around me. It was not scary. He was not intimidating. But at the same time, it also felt like he was like a gatekeeper of his farm. Like a guardian of his farm. Like he doesn't want to let me pass. So I respected his decision. I was like, okay, let's be still. Let's see what this beautiful bird is about to do. He wants to tell me something. So as you could see on the footage that I took from my camera, the vertical footage, you could see his very bright colors. And he kept following for quite some time, quite some distance, until he kind of like went into the fence. And then I really stepped up a bit more, and then he wasn't really able to go back in the fence, but he still tried to keep on following me. And then I was like, what's the whole meaning of this? What is the story behind these pheasants or peasants? So I wanted to Google up, like, alright, I'm in this shamanic journey. Fine, let's accept it. I'm not always the kind of person that likes to set up his altar and put in the 4 elements and start drumming, and perhaps the spirit guides will help me and assist me in whatever it is that I need to do. Sometimes the whole journey is recognizing these synchronicities that come to us in this very moment, in this very existing time-space reality. Because that's also the journey, that's also the path. Without wearing the big hats or dressing ourselves up so the world can see us like the spiritual teacher, the shamanic practitioner, or whatever. So I was looking it up, like, what is the meaning of the spirit animal of the pheasants? So let me share a bit more about that. So symbolism and meaning. Peasants are okay flyers, lousing themselves in times of fear, but only for a short distance. Their takeoff is noisy, like I said before, followed by a landing. Afterward, the peasants of both genders run for cover. No matter how gorgeous the birds, predators can rip everything apart. Since peasants enjoy being on the ground eating berries, seeds and grains, the bird has associations with both the air and earth elements. In their role as symbols of the air elements, You can turn your thoughts to the energies of dreams, higher awareness and personal aspiration. But the best laid plans for everyone include a cornerstone. Here's where the earth grounding comes into place. Keep eyesight and hearing come to bear with the peasants, correlating spirituality with clairvoyance and clairaudience. Both attributes are essentials to a peasant's survival. They help them detect danger and either dart at 10 miles per hour, fly at 35 miles per hour, or even swim. The peasant's spirit animal. That's what this is really about. Encounters with a peasant's spirit animal leads to a sense of openness in your life. You are encouraged to remain open to fresh experiences and people. You find yourself thirsty for a sense of space where you can open your wings. Peasant is here as a guide who maneuvers you through this time. If you have doubted your skill, Peasant is here to tell you enough of insecurities. You can make things happen. You have the wits and know-how. The key here is putting passion into equation and forging forward with courage wrapping around your waist. As you celebrate your newfound security, peasants encourage you to praise the talents of others. Be their peasants. Another worry to which the peasant spirit animal responds to is the safety of people you love. Danger lurks everywhere, but don't go looking for trouble. You can be on the watch by extending your sense for warning signs. Something for which offers aids. However, peasants balance this with the counsel of staying away from too much hoovering out of fear. Such an approach rarely ends well. So that's really like, to sum it up real quick, is that the meaning or the spirit animal for peasants, it represents fertility, openness, being done with the insecurities, trusting our skills, our abilities, need for open space, for being able to fly, to spread the wings. And the male peasants has also many females, which is interesting. So that's really kind of it what I wanted to share for today's video. And I already started off with the whole message. Like, once again, it might not really be about anything specific, but it's all about is that your spiritual journey, your spiritual practice, is that sometimes we must let go of an expectation or a condition, like, okay, you know, today I have my spiritual practice, I go out in nature, I go out in the woods, that's my practice. And I'm letting go of what I'm hoping to get out of it. And then things come through synchronicities. And sometimes through synchronicities for me happens is that I go out and I start recording and I have zero idea about the end results of what it is that I wanted to share. But then eventually I look at my footage and there's like a synchronicity, like things are coming into place, like the visuals represent the message that I wanted to share. And then this happened. This is a very, very powerful sign, a very clear sign of what lies ahead for me. And it still feels like a major hurdle, a major obstacle I must go through, and that's what we can all experience in our own personal life. Anyway, I hope that was helpful. I hope you saw some insights and clarity around this. The birds, the peasants keep making the noise, as you can see. And yeah, let me know your thoughts. Simply drop a comment below, and also feel free to subscribe. And if you are around Southwest London, Surrey Hills, and you want to join me for regular walks, for some meditation as well, join me into some forest healing, and then we can share conversations and experiences, and perhaps we can take things further from there as well. Alright, looking forward to that. Take care for now. Bye bye.